I say either give it back or shut up. AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it surely is. But say something about America that you like, because honestly, I don't know why the people who are fighting for this country so hard even want it anymore.
Bill Maher's rant struck a chord because he dared to say the quiet part out loud. So many political figures spend every moment lamenting how broken, hopeless, and hateful America has become, yet somehow expect us to believe they're the ones who love it the most. That contradiction is impossible to ignore once you notice it. When Maher directed that critique at AOC and the broader woke left, he wasn't just tossing out punchlines for laughs. He was highlighting a recurring pattern. Before we dive deeper, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, because this is exactly the kind of conversation people should stop whispering about and start saying out loud.
A more pertinent question to ask about the word woke might be, why in such a short time has it gone from a rallying cry to a pejorative? If the word only made you think of rational, deserved causes like teaching a less whitewashed version of American history, AOC would still want to own it. But it's a joke because it makes you think of people who wake up offended and take orders from Twitter, and their oversensitivity has grown tiresome.
And let's be honest, this whole woke rebrand says it all. A few years ago, being woke was supposed to signal virtue, moral clarity, and enlightened thinking. It was the badge, the label, the vibe. You were supposed to hear it and think, wow, this person really cares. But that's not the image it conjures today. Now, when people hear woke, they picture someone who wakes up perpetually offended, scrolls social media for marching orders, and turns every ordinary interaction into a lecture. That's why the label collapsed. Not because society stopped caring about fairness or justice, but because it became synonymous with smugness, censorship, emotional manipulation, and a complete inability to engage with the real world without declaring a national emergency over the tiniest inconvenience. That's where Maher lands his point hard. Don't insult everyone's intelligence. This isn't some moral evolution. It's political image management. When woke was trendy, politicians wore it like designer clothes. They posed with it, built entire online identities around it, leaned into it. But now that the public is tired of the finger-wagging, woke evokes annoyance, not admiration.
AOC fired back that wokeness is a term almost exclusively used by older people these days. So that should tell you all you need to know. What? This is a term folks like you brought out very recently and had been proudly displaying at every march since. Just last year, The Guardian declared woke the word of our era. I guess they didn't get the memo from the Mean Girls Club. We don't use that emoji anymore. Woke, please. We say fetch now.
Suddenly, the same people want to put distance between themselves and the label. Really? The beliefs didn't change, only the branding got ugly. That's not growth, that's marketing. And that brings us to AOC, because Maher's critique isn't just about one politician, it's about a style of politics built on performance. And no one can deny, AOC is masterful at the performance part. She knows how to frame a moment, turn an issue into a viral clip, and speak in a way that energizes her base. But here's the catch, it only works when the audience is friendly, when the room is already cheering, when pushback is minimal. That's why Maher publicly saying, "Come on the show" matters. That's a real test. Not a rally. Not a curated Instagram live. Not a soft interview where the host practically hands you your lines. This is a setting where someone can actually interrupt you and ask, "Okay, but what do you mean by that?" And for many media-trained politicians, that's exactly when the polish starts to fade.
That said, I would love to have AOC on this show. There's so much to admire there. I was one of her first supporters for the Green New Deal idea. But that will probably never happen because Democrats don't go anywhere these days where they're not pre-adored. And that's my last bit of advice to them. Go where the Amen Corner isn't. Do Fox News. Be brave. Come here. Go everywhere. Winning is about expanding the electorate.
Here's the uncomfortable truth. If your message only works in protected environments, maybe it wasn't that strong to begin with. If your ideas crumble the moment someone asks a basic follow-up question, maybe the problem isn't the question, it's the idea. And Ma, for all his flaws, has seen what many Democrats still won't admit. You don't grow politically by hiding in rooms where everyone already agrees with you. You don't persuade by preaching to the Amen Corner. You don't expand support by avoiding platforms that might challenge you. If you truly believe in your ideas, go defend them everywhere. Here's the part that really makes his critique stick. Ma isn't claiming America is perfect. That would be easy to dismiss. He's not doing chest thumping or shouting, "Everything is amazing. Don't question a thing." No, he's making a simpler, smarter point. Perspective matters. That's it. Perspective. You can critique your country without acting like it's uniquely evil. You can highlight flaws without pretending progress has never happened. You can call for reform without framing the nation and half its people as the enemy.
Okay, I say the next time we have debates, the moderator needs to frame that question a little differently, as say something about America that you like, because honestly, I don't know why the people who are fighting for this country so hard even want it anymore. Republicans, I'll start with you. I really want to know, what do you like about America? It's not democracy.
And that's the rot at the heart of so much modern left-wing rhetoric. It's not just criticism, it's contempt. Real contempt. Not just for policies, but for the people themselves. When Republicans are in power, suddenly America becomes an apocalyptic wasteland. Everything is fascism. Everything is hatred. Everything is systemic doom. Every headline reads like a funeral march. Every disagreement is proof the country is morally diseased. Eventually, normal people start asking the obvious question. Do you even like this place? Seriously, do you? Because if every tradition is shameful, every institution corrupt, every founding principle a lie, every symbol offensive, every historical figure irredeemable, every voter outside your coalition a monster, and every national holiday a hostage video, then what exactly are you trying to save? Love of country, or just lust for control? That's why Maher's line about saying something nice about America hits harder than the usual debate gimmicks, where candidates are prompted to say something nice about each other.
New rule, you don't really love America if you hate half the people in it. And also, if you hate a lot of the things that everybody always loved about it. There's an oft-repeated moment in political debates where the moderator says to the two candidates, say something nice about your opponent.
Can you say one nice thing, something that you admire about your opponent?
And say something nice about Representative Deal.
Tell us something that you admire about your opponent.
Could you say something nice about your opponent?
It's always so awkward because the candidates just spent an hour describing how America would be an out-of-control dumpster fire if the other guy won the election.
Forget the opponent for a moment. Say one thing you actually like about the country you claim to be fighting for. For some of these people, that suddenly becomes the hardest question in the world. Isn't that something? The same people constantly lecturing the nation on morality can barely admit it has any redeeming qualities at all. And here's the thing. That kind of negativity doesn't make you deep. It doesn't make you serious. It just makes you exhausting. It's the political equivalent of the dinner guest who turns every meal into a therapy session and ruins everyone's appetite. Eventually, even those who agree with you on some issues start backing away, tired of being told that every single thing is evidence of collapse. People want honesty, yes, but they also want proportion. Perspective. Adults in the room.
It's what's so odd about this time that we're living in. For all the talk about fighting for the soul of America, nobody seems to like it very much. Too many liberals give the impression that to them, America's just a big ugh. The red, white, and ew.
That's why the land acknowledgement stuff became such an easy target. Not because history doesn't matter or past injustice should be ignored, but because so much of it feels like empty moral theater. If you're going to stand there with solemn self-importance declaring you're on stolen land, then what comes next? That's Maher's point. Either do something real or stop using guilt as performance art. Much of modern ritualized politics isn't about fixing anything. It's about displaying purity, signaling the right emotions. And people are growing tired of being emotionally manipulated by leaders who confuse symbolism with substance.
Country that started out bad and will always be bad, founded on an unrelenting history of sucking and unable to change. But we have changed a lot. Democrat Cori Bush tweeted, "This land is stolen land and black people still aren't free." And this was on the 4th of July. Really? Not that I give a shit about the 4th of July. I've never been a rah-rah guy. But I am a perspective guy. And that's what too much of the left has lost, perspective.
The same pattern shows up in how capitalism gets discussed. Calling it slavery by another name isn't just wrong, it's obscene. It might sound edgy in a faculty lounge, but everywhere else it comes off as ridiculous. Yes, capitalism is flawed. Of course it is. Human systems reflect human flaws. But pretending the market system that has lifted billions, rewarded innovation, expanded choice, and created opportunity is somehow equivalent to slavery is the kind of brain-melting rhetoric that makes ordinary people stop taking you seriously. It's not brave. It's not profound. It's ignorant. And worse, it trivializes actual slavery, one of the greatest evils in human history.
AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it surely is.
What people actually want isn't utopian theory. They want results. They want to know if they can afford groceries, find work, raise a family, start a business, move up in life, and feel secure. They care about outcomes. That's why grand declarations about tearing down the entire system resonate more with online activists than with people who wake up early and pay bills. The average person isn't looking for a revolution. They're looking for stability, opportunity, and a little breathing room. When politicians talk as if the whole country is a moral failure, they're not inspiring change. They're just proving how disconnected they are from reality.
72% of black people under 30 are optimistic about their future in America. Way more than white people the same age. And as far as the land goes, yes, I guess we could change the name of Captain America to Captain Stolen Land. But honestly, to all the people who start every public event now with one of those land acknowledgements where they say, "I'm standing on land that was stolen from the proud indigenous people of the Chumash tribe," I say either give it back or shut up.
And this is where immigrants absolutely blow a hole through the narrative. Despite all the elite complaining, millions of people around the world still see America as worth coming to. Not perfect, not magical, not heaven on earth, but worth the risk, the effort, the sacrifice. That should matter. That should count for something. People don't uproot their lives, leave family behind, and take enormous risks to enter a country they believe is nothing but oppression and decay. They come because, despite its flaws, America still represents possibility. It offers a shot, an energy, an openness, a ladder people believe they can climb. That doesn't mean every criticism of America is invalid, obviously not. This country has made mistakes, done ugly things, failed people, and betrayed its ideals more than once. But the story of America is not only failure. It's correction. It's progress. It's expansion. It's the long, messy, frustrating process of trying to live up to the promises written into the founding.
Again, something like the free market is kind of synonymous with America. And if you don't like it, I don't know how you can say you love this country. You know who loves this country? You know who's not constantly complaining about what happened 200 years ago and who's not obsessed with seeing America through shit-colored glasses and shaking off the stench of what irredeemable, privileged assholes we are? Immigrants.
And that's what gets lost when every conversation frames the nation as evil from day one and basically unchanged. That's not insight, it's laziness. It flattens history, erases achievement, and turns progress into an inconvenience because progress gets in the way of permanent outrage. And let's be honest, permanent outrage is addictive. For some people, anger is no longer a response, it's an identity. It gives them meaning, community, a ready-made hero role where they're always the righteous one standing against overwhelming evil. But once outrage becomes your default, you stop seeing clearly. You can't admit improvement, because improvement lowers the emotional temperature. And some people don't know who they are without that heat. They need the country to be irredeemable, the system to be monstrous, every disagreement existential, because that's what keeps the whole performance alive.
Ask any of them why they came here, and they will tell you the same thing. Ron DeSantis put me on a plane. But they will also tell you that America, for all that's so shitty about it right now, is still the last best hope. And those people asking for our votes to take it over should remember that.
That's why Maher's criticism cuts deeper than the left wants to admit. He's not just mocking slogans, he's exposing incentives. If your politics depend on people feeling miserable, resentful, and perpetually offended, then you're not building anything. You're feeding off discontent. A movement that can survive only by insisting everything is awful will eventually become allergic to good news. Oh, when AOC or her allies claim America is drowning in hatred, people are right to ask. Compared to what? Compared to when? Compared to where? Perspective matters. Are there problems? Absolutely. Injustices? Of course. But pretending this country hasn't changed, improved, opened doors, or created opportunities that previous generations could barely imagine isn't analysis. It's ideology. Maybe that's why Maher's comments resonated. People are tired of being told to hate their country to improve it. Tired of being lectured by those with no gratitude, no balance, and no recognition of progress. Tired of politics that feels less like public service and more like emotional extortion. Tired of leaders who talk like America is a cursed disaster while fighting tooth and nail to run it. If you want to lead a country, speak about it with some measure of respect. If you want to represent people, don't act like you despise half of them. And if you want to convince ordinary voters that you care about their future, maybe stop treating the nation they live in as beneath contempt. Criticism is fine. Debate is healthy. Reform is necessary. But contempt is poison. And too much of the modern left has confused contempt for courage. Bill Maher called that out bluntly, humorously, and brutally effectively. He didn't just torch hypocrisy, he exposed the emptiness behind it. And that's why this conversation matters. A country can't hold together if one side treats national identity like a disease. At some point, somebody has to say enough. Enough melodrama. Enough moral vanity. Enough endless everything is terrible performances. America is flawed, yes, but it is also resilient, dynamic, aspirational, and still worth believing in. And the people who want to shape its future should probably start talking like they actually know that. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do Maher's criticisms hit the mark, or did he go too far? And if you're tired of the spin and want more commentary that says what everybody's thinking, subscribe and stick around.